Hello, this is Beans on Cake, and welcome to something brand new. Um, this is going to be something completely new. I'm not used to talking about this. I've had to record this a couple of times, or at least try and record this a couple of times. 'Cause I'm going to talk about something that's a little bit more personal. Um, and that is the fact that I am disabled. I'm in a wheelchair. I am undiagnosed at this current point in my life, but there's a lot wrong, ranging from extreme fatigue to extreme pain to neurological mishaps. There's a lot going on with my body that is unexplained. And as a result of that, I lost a lot of the things I enjoyed doing. When I was younger, I used to swim, I did cross country, I did hockey, I used to do performing arts. There's all sorts I used to do. And as I became a teenager, I started crocheting and playing guitar and like all that kind of stuff. I have lost almost all of that. I can't play guitar because my hands seize up and are in so much pain I can't do it. Same with crochet. I haven't got the energy to do any of the sports I used to do. And the one thing that I didn't lose because of my disability was swimming. I actually gave that up when I was an early teenager because I was focusing more on swimming than I was on the stuff I had to focus on, like school, and it just kind of made things a little bit more difficult. So I ended up kind of stopping doing the swimming lessons, and that was it. I stopped swimming for a really long time, and I miss it. I really missed it, and I started looking into sports that I could do as someone who is in a wheelchair. And I want to point out, I am not the most athletic person in the world. I never was. I'm never going to claim I was. I just did lots of different kinds of sports and was relatively okay at them. I spent my childhood and most of my teenagehood being relatively okay to average at most things I tried. Was it a recipe for success in all things? No, but it worked for me in its own little way. And one of the things that kept coming up was swimming. And I thought, I guess, but there's only one pool near me. Thankfully, I used to work in this building as a different part of the place, not in like the swimming or like the gym area. It was a completely different part of the place, and I used to work there. So I knew the duty manager. I'd actually been on holiday with him earlier in the past couple of years. It would have been maybe 2 years ago now. I went on holiday with him, and I still had his number. So I messaged him and was like, "Hey, can I pick your brain about this?" And I asked him a load of different questions about the place, how it worked, because even though I'd worked there, it was not my side of the, it's not my side of the pool. It's not my side of the building. I didn't understand how the pool worked. I just knew the lifeguards, and I knew the staff, and that was it. And one thing that, was worrying me was that it's been so long, and I'm now in a wheelchair. Like, the day that I left that place, I was walking. I had some issues with fatigue, but I just put them down to the fact that I was exhausted. I had issues with fatigue. I was still walking. I had incredibly brightly coloured hair, and I was studying business. Now, not doing that. At college. And now, I'm going in there now. I've got near enough a grown out buzz cut. It's still in its really short phase, but I can now hold it with my fingers. It isn't like a complete buzz cut as it was a couple months ago. It's now my natural hair colour, which it's been my natural hair colour for a little while. But at the same time, most people who worked there had never seen me with my natural hair colour ever, because it was always something different. And the big thing, I'm in a wheelchair. And it was strange. The people that I used to work with were like, "Oh my god, how are you? What happened?" And it's like, where do I begin? So I'm not going to go into the details of the actual problems I experienced. I briefly touched on them. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about me going swimming again. And I appreciate that this is an incredibly long intro, but they won't all be this long. The next couple editions of this will just be me talking about the progress I'm making, how long I was in the pool, and how I'm feeling. Which will probably just be why there'll be a load of videos that I just kind of put together, rather than one big video like this one. But in this video, I'm going to be going across the past 3 weeks where I've been going swimming. So the first week I went, I felt slightly overconfident because whilst it had been a long time since I'd gone swimming, I still thought, I've still got it, because, you know, forgetting that muscles have to be worked out. I mean, I know they have to be, but my brain also had that that really irritating confidence of like, we can do this, it's fine, because I'd spent the past couple of weeks being so anxious about it that my brain hit me with some confidence, knowing that I'd probably not succeed in the first try, because you never do. Keep trying things. And from there, I exhausted myself really quickly. I started doing full length, so I should have started on halves, which is a mistake, but I've learned from that now. I'm now just sticking to half length, so that's for next week and the week after that, and then this week. And one of the things that kept happening was I got really tired really quickly, which was expected because obviously I have problems with fatigue. I'm gonna get tired fast. But I also kept feeling like I was out of place. I'm potentially the youngest person in the pool at any given time. Everyone else is 30, 40, at a push 50. I'm not near that yet. So it was very sort of strange, just like, right. Okay. Also, the wheelchair. The pool hoist, you kind of have to be put in this really plastic chair, which is fine, it has to go in the water, it makes sense for it to be plastic. And then you have to be pushed around by the lifeguards. And it is the most mortifying thing in the world to, like, be wheeled around the pool. But it's like, I can't get there myself. I have to be wheeled around the pool because they've got like a sign that's like, no outdoor shoes. I'm assuming that extends to tyres. And I'm not comfortable enough using a cane or using crutches anymore. I used to use them, and now I don't. And now I'm in a wheelchair. But it's just like, there's so many different things going through my head that I was anxious, and that I don't think didn't help the fact that I think my anxiety worked me up a little bit, and it meant that I struggled a lot more with swimming than I probably should have done. I've also struggled a lot with keeping my form, because I can't feel the water properly. I can't feel the water that my legs are in, and that makes for a really interesting swimming experience, because I don't actually, like, I know I'm swimming, and I know I'm swimming through water, but I don't know where my legs are, because I can't see them, and I can't feel them. I have to, when I'm, like, trying to touch the floor, I have to put my head in the water, and make sure my feet are actually hitting the floor, because I can't feel it. And it's so weird, like, I'm never gonna get over the fact that I can't feel the water anymore. Because it's not something I've experienced when I'm sitting in a bathtub. Because you're sitting in a bathtub. But when you're swimming and you're trying to move and you're not just kind of sitting in a puddle of bubbles, it's so weird. It's weird. It's so weird. It's just bizarre, and I don't know how to feel about it. But being in the water takes away a lot of the pain that I'm in all the time, because of the pressure of the water and everything like that. It makes it so much easier for me to just exist. Apart from the fact that the chlorine really dries out my skin, because I have a dry skin condition that is for the most part okay, thanks to the power of medicine, but is also still really prone to getting dry. And yes, I do moisturise after I get out of the pool, usually once I get home, because I don't like the feeling of moisturisers on my clothes. When I get home, I just kind of work it all out. And obviously got to wash the chlorine off, I do that as well. But, like, it's weird, just not being able to feel the water, knowing how dry my skin gets, and everything like that. Like, it means I can work on my form to the best of my abilities, but I don't actually know what my form is. I can only see my arms, and even then, that's not much, because I need to get glasses with prescriptions in. My eyesight is really bad. I have to get glasses with prescriptions in. I'm waiting for them. Well, actually, no, I'm working on finding out my prescription, and it hasn't yet been sent to me, and I will be ordering them. But it's just, there's a whole host of things that are different from when I first started swimming all those years ago. And it's also, like, I did so much research into, like, how do I act in lanes? Because I know it's, like, as simple as going up and down, but it's also, like, there are other people there. How does that work? And then it's also, like, trying to alert the lifeguards that I need to get out, so I can get out of the pool. and then go change is a little bit awkward, because they don't sit near the shallow end, which is basically where I'm swimming. They sit towards the deeper end, on the end of the pool that I'm in. So I have to kind of, like, hold the bar and, like, shuffle myself along in order to get their attention. And because I can't see them, it's even harder. I'm very lucky that I can, like, identify them by their uniform. And, like, it's easier for me to see them that way, because I can't identify their faces, I can't identify, like, I can only really see the colour of the shirt. And it's just like, but it's fine. So that, the first time, it was exhausting. I was wiped out. I slept like it was hibernation time, and the next morning, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Like, absolutely garbage. I felt like shit. And it was sort of like, is it gonna be like this every single time? It's not. Last week when I went swimming, it was significantly easier. I went from swimming for maybe 40 minutes to swimming for an hour. And that is not timing breaks either, so I think it maybe might have been nearer 45 minutes, which meant that the first time would have been nearer half an hour, including breaks. And the next morning, I did feel a little bit like achy, but I felt better. I did still sleep when I got home, but that is something that I am slowly working on as well. And then I went swimming today, and I felt fine. I'm still here talking. I went swimming at 7 in the morning. I got out the pool around 9. I say 7. I left the house at 7. I woke up late. I was in the water for maybe half 7. I got out of the water at maybe 8:25. Actually, might have been near at 8:45, and I had a 15-minute break. So I was swimming for nearly an hour. Around 55 minutes is what I timed it as on my watch. And sorry, doing maths there. And I'm still awake. It is nearly, it's now like 4:30 as I'm recording this. I'm still awake. I'm still, for the most part, functioning, aside from the fact it is insanely warm in the UK at the minute. And I know I'm going to get people going, it's the UK, what do you mean it's warm? What I mean is we have a heat wave that has just about reached 38, and the buildings that we have are not designed for this weather, in the slightest. We are designed to hold in the heat, but it means that in winter we just stay cold anyway. I don't know. I need to have a conversation with all the people that design the places in the place that I live, because it's all wrong. And like, I know someone who lives in Australia, and even they are saying they wouldn't want to come here during this weather because of the humidity alone. That's without the temperature and without the infrastructure problems. And they're in Australia. Just to kind of, I don't feel as insane when I'm saying that as I probably should. But like, yeah, no, the weather's a problem. And today it felt so good to get in the pool. I nearly didn't go because I woke up at the right time. I then fell back asleep in the most uncomfortable position in the world. And I then woke up and was like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be in the pool in 20 minutes. Like, it isn't a set time slot to swim, but it is just a personal preference that I'm in the water at a certain time, or else I get upset. My brain doesn't like it. But it's fine. And I was a little bit later, which was also, like, it was fine for everyone else but me. I didn't like it. And it also means that, like, I missed the first wave of lifeguards who enter the pool at the same time we do, which means I can go, hello, I need the hoist. Because even though you let them know at reception, the lifeguards still don't always get the message. And, like, it was nice. The water was so amazing with this weather. And then I got out of the pool and dried off and was just baking in the disabled toilet, just like, because it's just uncomfortable. Uncomfortable weather. But whilst I am incredibly British, I'm not going to sit and complain about weather for the next 10 minutes. I probably could. And it was so nice being in the water, and getting out of the water was fine. But there is a weird thing that happens when I get out of the water. I briefly touched on this. The second I get out of the water, all of the pressure that was built around me when I was in the water releases. And it is just this wave of excruciating pain that is like, oh, hold on a minute. It's not nice. And then I had to get my stuff and take some painkillers, and then, like, wait for it to kick in, and then dry off and do everything I have to do. And then it's just like, no. But it is incredibly rewarding, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the times improve. So, like, from 35 to 45 minutes to 55 minutes to like an hour. I want to see how much I improve. I'm timing all of this on a watch that is a digital watch that isn't smart. I spent a long time searching for one that wasn't smart. I don't like smart watches that much. It's an it's an old-ish Casio watch that when I first turned it on, it thought it was 2011. So just a rough idea on what it thinks the age is of this watch. I don't know exactly, but like, when I turned it on and hadn't set it all up yet, it thought it was 2011. So that's something. But yeah, no, so it has just sort of been a weird journey of like accepting that I've lost a lot of things and then trying to find ways to find things to do again. Because a lot of the things that I spent a lot of my time doing before I became ill were quite physical. I used to go for walks from sunset to sunrise, which I know sounds insane, but I did it. I used to be a paper kid. I used to do paper rounds, which again makes me sound older than I am. I used to do paper rounds I did it for maybe 4 or 5 years. It was amazing. I loved it so much, being able to have my own time in the morning to do whatever I wanted as long as I delivered those papers. I could just walk around and enjoy the sunrise if it was early enough, or like winter, or like summer, like when the daylight cycle means that the sun rises later in the day. You could usually catch it, and it was also like, it was, you know, good pocket money, I guess. But, and then, like, there's all kinds of things I used to love doing, and now I've lost most of them. And the one thing that I've managed to get back is swimming. And I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I can. And, yeah, I'm going to record these both so that it can be like this is what I'm getting up to at the minute. And also, like, just so I can talk about it a bit more, because there's a lot to process. And yes, I could talk about it with other people who may or may not understand what I mean, but I would rather share it with people who potentially might know. And even if they don't know, that's okay. They might be in the position I'm in and can think, right, okay. But also, I do want to just say, I will probably put this at the beginning of the video as well, that I do not want to be the person that you go, well, he's doing it, why aren't you, to other disabled people. Do not do that. Because I am privileged enough, and it is a privilege, to have the ability, the support, and the access to this place. I am lucky enough that I know the lifeguards. I'm lucky enough that I know the duty managers. I'm lucky enough that the place is accessible in its own right. And I'm lucky enough that I still have the ability to swim, even if I might lose it one day. I'm going to hold on to it while I can. And not everyone is like that. So don't you go telling other people who are in wheelchairs, why don't you go swimming? Because this person can. I am quite dynamic in my disability. Other people aren't like that. It means that every single day looks different to me. Today I went swimming. Yesterday I spent most of the day curled up in bed. The day before that I spent most of it laying on the bathroom floor, being watched over by my friend who was terrified because I was just laying on the floor groaning. Like, there is so much to my life that is not my disability. My disability just happens to take a lot of control over it, and I can't think about that. But please do not use this video or any of the videos I make about this topic to pick on other disabled people who aren't as privileged as I am, because that's not fair and that's not nice. Please don't do it. But I think this is everything I have to talk about today. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk, and I look forward to talking a bit more about it, because this has actually been quite nice to talk about. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next episode of this. Bye!